and welcome back to the Midnight Milkshake podcast. Something might be different for you guys. We're married.
We got married. We finally did it. We were supposed to have a bigger wedding in the spring, and we decided, fuck it, let's just get married in Vegas right now.
Frick it.
Yeah.
Vegas. What's up?
Dude, it is funny because first off, here's the thing. We got married in Las Vegas, just the two of us, instead of like doing a big wedding with both our families. And I don't like the word eloped, though. People keep saying we eloped. And it's like, no. Eloped has a connotation of like we're getting away with something, we're on the run, or like we're doing it in secret.
Or we're like not supposed to.
Yeah.
You know, it's forbidden.
Yeah. Like the cops are after us. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, it's like literally just like it wasn't eloping. We literally told everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone knew.
But like, what does elope mean? Elope versus marriage. Like, what do you mean by that?
Well, yeah.
You know, like.
Well, I think elope was like probably in the olden times. It's like, well, the girl you're supposed to marry, like the dignified soldier sailor, and instead you're marrying I'm describing Pirates of the Caribbean, I guess.
Right, like the woman of the family who your family would like to merge lands with.
Yes.
You don't want to marry her. You want to marry the chambermaid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you sneak off. I'm thinking about like Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. That's not the plot of Romeo and Juliet.
No, it's not.
But it is kind of because they would have had to elope.
Well, I thought they got married in Romeo and Juliet, right?
I mean, I know they killed themselves.
Right. Did they get married and then kill themselves?
But I know their families were in conflict.
You don't want a suicide out of wedlock.
That's true.
I know that.
Because then you don't go to heaven.
That's so true. Everyone knows that if you want to kill yourself, you have to make sure you're married before you do that.
Otherwise, it's a bastard suicide.
Exactly.
And this is just some of the good marriage material we've cooked up.
Yeah.
Midnight Milkshake.
When you think of college, you probably picture an old, ancient, serious institution. You probably think of gloomy weather and old teachers with long, wispy beards and flowing robes and...
I think you're just describing a wizard school.
The point is, you're probably thinking of an outdated concept of college, but campus provides a new, modern, actually accessible solution for completing your 2-year, instead of having a rigid, one-size-fits-all, antiquated college experience in an old building, being taught by an even older professor, learning dungeon magic or potions.
I think you're just describing a wizard school again.
Okay, the point is, please go to campus.edu/midnightmilkshake. Check it out.
I was saying that. What? Sorry.
I said I like how it's clear that we've gotten married, and yet we seem to be kind of like a little vague on what that even means.
Yeah. What does marriage even mean?
What does it mean?
What does it mean to you?
I mean, I don't know. I know we went to a lot of official buildings and signed a bunch of documents.
We did. It's a lot of bureaucracy.
Yeah.
Okay. That's also something like about marriage that's like so funny is I'm like, it is a lot like getting your driver's license. Like just in terms of like going to government buildings and filling out forms.
I found it harder to get my driver's license than it was for us to get married. And maybe that shouldn't be the case. Because like driver's license, they make you take a bunch of tests to ensure that you're like of sound mind. And also that this is a good kind of contract and license you should be given. And in marriage, you just kind of be like, yeah, here it is.
Well, also, like, you can't be drunk and get your driver's license.
But you can be drunk and get married.
Drunk and get married.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's, like, really no safeguards against it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, again, they don't, like, breathalyze you before your driver's test. But I assume if you were, like, wobbling around, they'd be like, no.
Yeah, if you're hammered while taking your driver's test. Well, but that's also a thing. There should be a driver's test, but for getting your marriage license. You know what I mean? Because like in a driver's test, what do? They have an employee of the city sit in the passenger seat while you drive them around. Yeah. And I think that you should have to, if you're going to get married, you have to have someone from the city just like follow you around as you do errands.
I think that's really valid. I think that's a really good idea. I think why not? For 1 hour?
Yeah.
For 1 hour, what if a city official like followed us around and decided like, oh, are they like okay at communicating and like solving problems?
Yeah. Like
do they get along? Do they get on?
Yeah. They should watch it. Like they should have to like follow you as you make like a joint purchase.
Yeah.
They should have to be stuck in traffic with you, and they should have to eat a meal with you.
I think that's a good idea. I also always say that if you're a good couple, it should be easy to third wheel with you. Yeah. Like, because also it's just like, okay, if you're a couple and it's not easy to third wheel with you, how do you think your child's going to feel? Yeah. Like your child's going to hate it.
A child is just a third wheel you grow.
Exactly. And I'm excited to grow our third wheel eventually.
Yes.
Anyway, but our marriage, we want to talk about like where we got married, like what do we want
we had a great, we literally, also first off, Dana's going to be dropping a vlog, so don't even worry about it. We got footage of this whole bad boy. We did this also like this thing too, where it's like, not to like whatever, but like we got married in Vegas and like it was so cool. We had such a cool wedding.
It was so fun. I mean, like, it was perfect. Yeah. I have no notes.
First off, here's what I would say.
Yeah.
When we When we told people, specifically members of our family, that instead of having our scheduled big wedding in the spring, we were just going to go to Vegas and get married in like just small, just get it over with. There were two reactions. Reaction number one was, oh no, don't do that. You can't do that. I want to go. I should be there. I want to attend. It's important to me. You can't get married without me. And then we would say, oh, you can come if you want. We'll buy you a hotel room. And that led us to reaction number two, which is like, I got a thing.
Oh, I'm actually busy. Oh my God. Actually, I can't make it.
Reaction number one is like, no, you can't get married in Vegas. I'm supposed to be there. I want to be there to support you. And then we'd be like, you can. Come. And they'd be like,
I got a thing.
Ooh, my Google Calendar. Yeah.
And here's the thing that we realized is like, again, boomers only want to do things on their exact terms, which like, whatever, that's fine. But it is so funny that like, what is with this pretense? If you don't actually care, then don't pretend like you care.
Well, but also that's also my thing too. That's what I've realized though, in a positive way. Because also again, like we wanted to just like get married. You know what I mean? Like we wanted to get married.
Yeah.
But then also like a lot of people we talk to, it's like they don't even want to go to your wedding. They just want to be respected enough for you to invite them to your wedding.
Yes.
Like being at the wedding for them, it's just them being able to tell themselves, I am matter enough to this couple to be here.
Yeah.
So if you open it up and you're just like, yeah, you're invited if you want, but like it's not going to really be a whole thing, then they get exactly what they need, which is like I always ask.
Yeah, most people just want to be invited and considered.
No one wants to like, oh, book a flight.
I also am just like, no, weddings are done. Like, and I was saying this to Robert, but like so many cool chic influencers who, dare I say, set the tone for the norms of today's girls. Did that make any sense?
It did make sense. I followed it completely.
Okay, thank you. Most of them are just like getting married on their own, dare I say, eloping.
Yeah.
And I just think marriage culture has hit this apex where like it's done. Like people went too far. It became too much of a thing. And now we're kind of like, I do think marriage culture is on the decline. I mean, our freaking country's at war.
I think three things are out.
Yeah.
Big expensive weddings, gambling in Las Vegas, going to Las Vegas to gamble.
Yes.
And the third thing,
smoking weed.
Dude, so the four things are out. You know what's so crazy?
What?
I forgot. No, let me think.
Sorry.
Three things
I'm
are
sorry.
out. Oh yeah. Taking out student loans to go to college. So let's take this from the top. Yeah. I'm gonna leave weed out because I think that's a worthy discussion, but it doesn't fit what I'm saying.
Okay.
I think three things are out. I think that taking out student loans to go to college is out. Mm-hmm. I think spending a ton of money on your wedding is out.
Yeah.
And I think going to Las Vegas to gamble is out. People don't want to do that. Now, ironically though, you can, instead of the big wedding, go have a small wedding in Vegas as we did.
Yes.
So it is fun.
Yes.
But I do just think like all of these things where they're like, yeah, you're putting a price tag on stuff where actually the cheaper version, it became superior.
Well, the cost now so far outweighs the value, like we talk about, where it's like the dollar amount makes no sense for like what I'm actually getting from this. And I also think we're reaching this point in culture where, dare I say, people are like woke enough to the truth of who they are to know what they do and don't like and what is not important to them as individuals. Like I think we're like, again, I think maybe this started with COVID, but I'm like, we're definitely drifting away from like this kind of like group think.
Yes.
Like we all kind of are actually checking in with ourselves and being like, what makes sense for me as an individual? And like, so that makes sense that like when I actually check in as an individual, I go, well, no, it doesn't make sense for me to take out all these loans to go to college.
Well, I think
it doesn't make sense. Like,
I think COVID is the moment because you're right. COVID basically involved every institution shutting down.
Yeah.
As they should have, but it involved every single institution and system that seemed like, well, these will always be here and their way of doing things will always be the way. Instantaneously, like it left. It's gone. It's not there anymore. So I do think it prompted everyone realizing like, wait a minute, why am I placing my faith in these institutions? I'm an individual. I kind of got to look out for me a little bit.
Right. I think again, it just became like, what about me? And I also think it's like, and because, you know, COVID made it so we were all at home, gambling moved to the phone. Gambling moved to the app. And therefore, what Vegas?
Yeah,
gamble?
What Vegas?
Why Vegas gamble?
Why? Well,
phone gamble.
But also is with Vegas where it's like you have to pay so much money to pay money.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing about going to Las Vegas because like the hotels are so expensive. All the food is so expensive. And then the main activity is like gambling.
Yeah.
And so it's like, so what? I have to pay a ton of money to go to Vegas and stay in a hotel so that I have the right to then pay more money.
I guess the idea is that, like we talk about, if you're good at gambling, whatever that means, if you're good at gambling, then the hotel pays for itself.
Yeah.
With all the money that you win.
Yeah. But, you know, I don't know anyone who's good at gambling.
I've not met a good gambler.
I've never met a good gambler in my life.
I've never met a good gambler. Yeah. But maybe the good gamblers, they keep it to themselves.
That's the real thing.
Yeah.
Maybe like when I look across like the you know, the casino floor, all the people in suits who seem good, they're bad. Yeah. But then just some random old lady who just my eyes glaze over completely. Yeah. She's the one who's got a whole system.
Right. She's like rich as fuck.
She's rich as fuck from gambling.
Yeah. And there we go.
But there you go. But I do think with wedding culture, it was the thing too where it's like, no, it's something that like, no, I'm not saying weddings should be cheap. Ironically, our wedding wasn't even necessarily cheap.
No, we actually ended up spending like a decent chunk of change on our wedding.
But also we talked about this. The money we spent, which is by the way, like a few grand, right? You know, to like hotel, nice dinners, rentals, all that stuff. It was spent 100% on us. Yeah. As opposed to the other way more expensive wedding we had planned. Where I'm like, the money's being spent on, you know, my family and loved ones. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But again, ultimately people who like, and this is no shade to any, this is not like, I literally don't begrudge anyone this at all. But like, here's the truth is like, nobody cares about your wedding. So like, you're actually in effect spending a lot of money on people who like, it might even be a chore for them to go. Like they might not even, like, in their hearts, they might like resent you for inviting them.
Well, cause it's like, well, shit. Now it's like you've thrown down the gauntlet of you care enough about me to invite me. Now I have to show that I care enough about you.
It's a whole to do. And also it's like, here's my thing. Okay. Like realistically, it's like if you're the one throwing the wedding, it ends up being probably like $200, $300 a guest. Yes. Like for like dinner and like whatever, blah, blah. Yes. But like your guests are actually spending a lot more than that on like a hotel, like their travel, like etc. And I am like, at what point too is it like, well, I'm putting down $250 a plate for your dinner, but like you've spent like $900 coming here plus a gift. And it's like, and you don't even like care about me that much. Not in like, again, not in like a, you don't even care about me, but like you don't care about me that much. I know hard feelings.
You want me fucking dead. You only came here so you could kill me. And I don't begrudge you that. A lot of times,
spent $900 on your tickets. You could, and like $1,500 on the gun.
On the gun. And a lot of times, here's the thing, because it's the problem, because you invite people to your wedding, and now it's like shit. Now they're like, well, fuck, I gotta go kill them.
Right. I have to go. This is my opportunity to murder them. And they have to live with the weight of
being a killer.
Right.
And then it's like, you know, people have to like find the right, and then they're all there to kill you, and then they catch wind
that other people are trying to kill you. They're like, how do I do it first? Right. Exactly.
Not a bad movie premise.
No, that's a really good movie premise. Is everyone at your wedding is trying to kill you.
Everyone at your wedding is trying to kill you.
Every guest is trying to kill you.
Isn't that might actually be isn't that the opening of Spy Kids? They get married and then a bunch of people try to kill them, and don't they do some cool escape?
I don't remember.
Here's the thing about me. I'll kind of watch a movie one time when I was 10 and I'll reference it wrong forever.
Spy Kids for me is kind of in one ear out the other, but like I really overall like the vibes.
Well, this is the difference. Again, this is the difference between me and, dare I say, a lot of kids. Not to be a pick-me. I was a pick-me for adults when I was a kid. That was my thing. I wanted to be an adult.
We were all a pick-me for adults.
So my thing with Spy Kids was like at the beginning, I thought the parents were cooler than the kids. Like even as a kid, I'm like, I know as a kid, I'm supposed to. Here's the thing, because I'm supposed to.
Is Carlo Gugino?
Yeah, it's Carlo Gugino and Antonio Banderas.
That's a sexy couple. Well, that's sexy mom and dad.
They introduced these cool as fuck.
Yeah.
They introduced these cool as fuck super spies who rock, and then me as a kid, I'm like, they're the coolest spies I've ever seen. And then they go, all right, now we're gonna see the children who you're gonna relate to. I'm like, I'd rather be I want to be Antonio Banderas.
That's so real, dude. I was a pick me for adults. I think every kid who's weird is pick me for adults.
Well, because you know you've lost the kids your own age,
right? So like I can never get the kids on my side. Yeah. But then ultimately, it's like adults also really didn't like me.
So I think that this is now you're just unlikable.
I was picking me for myself. And a lot of good that did me.
Oh, and I had to pick me because I was all I had, and I was like, oh.
And I picked me, and I was like,
try and pick anyone else.
Damn.
And I kept changing myself to be a version of me I would pick.
Right.
Yeah. But this is also my thing with weddings. Weddings got too big for their britches. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it used to be a thing like, okay, I get that if I'm going to have a ceremony, have my friends and family there, dress up, we're all going to have a nice dinner and a party for everybody. I get that that's not cheap no matter how you slice it. But then they used to go, instead of like dinner being like, oh, $70 a person.
Right.
Or, you know what I mean? Or 50 in like a
Right.
group. Suddenly
Right.
it's like triple that.
Well, they
Or-
did the wedding tax.
did
It's
the
like
wedding
the
tax.
artificial
Yeah.
inflation because it's a wedding.
Well, I thought that you'll go to a venue, and I know if I was just renting this
For
venue
a party. It's not as expensive.
It's not as
This is like
expensive.
a whole thing.
It's like
or like how certain dresses cost more in the color white.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like that thing where I'm like, again, if I were to rent a tuxedo normal, it's at one price. But then I'm like, I mention casually, oh, it's actually for my wedding. And they're like, oh, suddenly the price is 4 times as much.
Right.
And that's everything.
And that's everything.
So no wonder I'm like, yeah, weddings kind of are out.
But again, every single, like we talk, okay, like you were saying, student loans, weddings, gambling. It's like all of these things have just become so, gambling in Vegas specifically, so cost prohibitive that it's like, no, like at some point people just will stop having them. But we also talk about how like weddings are this day that like middle class people get to essentially play royalty. Like the whole notion of a wedding is like you're a king and queen.
Well, the goal of the wedding for middle class people is it lets them cosplay as upper class. And the goal of the wedding for upper class people is to make their upper class friends feel middle class.
Yeah, that's so
middle
real.
class
That's so
middle
real.
class people are trying for their wedding day to to show everyone else what they'd be like, oh, we're rich. We're going to feel rich today.
Yeah.
And then upper class people, they're like, I'm going to make my rich friends feel poor
That's
as fuck
so
today.
real. That's so
Yeah.
real.
And then poor people, their weddings are just a celebration of love.
And isn't that beautiful?
And that's beautiful.
Well, again, you have to be in love to marry poor because there's no financial benefit.
Yeah.
That being said, I saw a TikTok about how only rich people used to ever get married. Like poor people never used to marry each other because they were just like servants. And maybe like it's like I'm the chambermaid. I keep using chambermaid. I'm the cook in the kitchen and you're the driver. And maybe we frick and have a family. But we never like have a union.
I'm sorry. Your points are just, they mean nothing when you keep summoning chambermaid. I get your point, and I think your point has merit, but it is just, it does feel disqualified when you have to conjure a poor person and you have to go back to medieval times. Your image of a poor person is like us in a stained glass window in Versailles of someone begging Napoleon.
Well, it is because of the famed Grant Cardone, Elena Cardone.
Yes.
That's why I think of it.
By famed, you mean a TikTok you saw.
I mean a TikTok I saw.
Care to explain?
Yeah. So basically, if you guys aren't familiar, Grant Cardone, he is a real estate magnate, allegedly, right?
No, he is a real estate magnate.
Okay. But he has a wife, Elena Cardone, or rather Elena Cardone has a husband, Grant Cardone. Whatever. Neither here nor there. Elena, in a TikTok, talks about how she would never talk about problems with Grant to a friend because, as she says, would the queen talk about the king to the chambermaid? That's what she says about why she would never complain about her husband to her friends.
Also, it's just so funny because that is just how rich people, every rich person does think of themselves as king and queen.
Yeah, they do.
Because also it's like you're the wife of a real estate guy.
Right.
Like you're like, obviously you're rich and stuff, but it's like this idea of like, oh, I'm like the queen. In many ways, no, you have more in common with like, again, someone who works at State Farm.
Well, again, people always talk about, I guess people always talk about TikTok conspiracy theories that I like to watch. There are 13 ruling elite families in America, famously.
Not famously. Not
Yes,
famously.
Robert, you're so sheeple when you disagree with me. Wait, let me tell you.
No, I'm people. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm people. I'm normal. Every time you see a TikTok in your head, you go, famously, it's a famous TikTok just because you saw it. You see 13 conspiracy theory videos and you go,
No, I don't see 13 conspiracy videos. There's like 100 conspiracy videos, thousands of conspiracy videos about how there are 13 ruling families.
and you say that to me as if that counts at all. As if that's like a news story.
And they control the population and they're in communication with like the aliens or whatever.
I like, again, this is what I was saying today. It's also so funny that post-marriage, things like that actually do strike me. It's just like, isn't that interesting? As soon as the contract signed, she's like, great. So let me tell you what I really think about the 13 families. I got married to Dana and suddenly it's like, let me tell you about these conspiracy theories that I think are fact.
I told you about this long before we were formally conjoined.
We're not conjoined.
Wait, the memory is running out.
Girl who doesn't understand what marriage means and thinks it means you become conjoined. She's like, all right, let's go to the surgeon.
I'm like, time for the procedure.
Yeah.
Let's fuse our arms together.
I mean, that would be horrific. Did you know that that pair of conjoined twins, they had all those reality shows about them?
Yeah, I remember them.
They had a baby.
Together?
Well, everything has to be together.
Wait, I'm so confused.
I'm confused as well.
Wait, were they girls?
Yeah.
So do they share a V?
Yes,
they share one V.
I believe that's the case.
So the baby came out of their joined
Let
V?
me just be 100% clear with you.
Yeah.
I saw the two of them holding the baby in like the stroller, and I saw the headline. They had there's a baby. There's a newborn. And I said, I'm curious as to how that happened, but not curious enough to look it up.
Right, that's so
because I don't
real.
want that in here.
Well, also it's just like, I guess, is the baby's just like a singular entity?
Yeah, it's a singular entity.
Well, that's good.
It seems like there's a singular entity. I mean, again, they didn't show like a shot, but I would assume that would have been mentioned. I mean, but also there is that thing too, where again, to be so clear, though I'm like the details of which are kind of like, a little confusing and maybe to me would seem odd. It is just like, hey man, that's their life. So it's like, what, are they denied the right to life? No,
not at all.
They should be able to have a kid.
I mean, I would never say that, like they shouldn't.
I'm just genuinely curious how that works.
Yeah, no, me too.
Not in a judgmental or perverse way.
No, not judgmental nor perverse.
Neither judgmental nor perverse.
That's kind of my motto.
How'd you have that baby? And in a non-judgmental nor perverse way.
In a judgment neutral, platonic.
Well, obviously it's platonic.
I don't know. Just thinking about what's the opposite.
See, this
of
one
perverse.
is conjoined.
What?
They're conjoined.
They're conjoined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your dynamic with them is platonic.
Yeah. I mean, so far. Well, I'm married.
You're married.
So I'm conjoined also to
You're
someone
not
else
conjoined.
already.
That's not what that means.
Okay.
You show up for like a meeting of like a support group for conjoined people.
Yeah.
You think it's like a marriage support group.
I think it's a marriage support group. Yeah.
And you walk in, you're like, oh,
oops.
Sorry.
Oops.
Oh, by the way, I do want to say this. Yeah. Going back to the wedding thing, it is funny because yes, when we decided to just like forego a traditional ceremony and just get married ourselves, a lot of people pointed out that a lot of influencers have been doing that.
Yeah.
And it is so funny to tell someone your plan and have people go, oh yeah, some of the craziest people on the internet also did that. Oh yeah, you're not alone. Some of the most insane people on the internet have done exactly what you're doing. And again, I'm genuinely like, cool. But it is like, that's just so funny.
But here's my thing about that is I'm like, no, it makes sense that people who, dare I say, are the main characters of their lives and their internet channels and platforms wouldn't need necessarily to have a wedding. Because I do think like, okay, and again, no, I'm not like hyping myself up or anything, but I'm like, I literally feel like every day is my wedding. I feel like every time I post on TikTok, that's my fucking wedding. Like I get as much validation from like just posting on TikTok that like I'm sure people feel that they get at their wedding.
Well, not even unpacking any implications of that. I just want to be like, well, no, it is like this thing of like you get a ton of attention in your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
So it would make sense that actually what gives your personal life meaning and makes it feel special is not having attention on it.
Right. Well, also like I was thinking about that where I'm like, dude, the intimacy and like the privateness of our wedding and ceremony, I'm like, to me, like that's what's special. I'm like, I actually don't want like, again, okay, when I say this, no shade, random uncles and aunts, etc., witnessing like my declaration of commitment and love and conjoinment. Just kidding.
And conjoinment. I don't want them in the surgery room.
As we're in the surgery room.
As we fuse
forearms.
Fused together.
Right.
Here's the thing: if we fuse forearms, we can make it work.
Oh, I don't think it'd be that big a deal.
Yeah.
I think you'd be really irritated by me because I'm clumsy.
Yes, but also, or I would get you in line.
Or you'd become more clumsy.
No, I would make you less clumsy.
We'll see. We'd see.
We won't see. I don't want to see.
We won't see. We're not getting the surgery.
Well, no, but also it's that weird thing too, because then it becomes, this is also a frustration with planning any sort of a big wedding. Every one of your relatives suddenly acts like it's a group project, which I get on some level it is, but also just conceptually, I'm like, it shouldn't be. Literally my thing with the wedding is like, no, it should be just like 100% what we want.
But I also think that's why weddings are on their way out, because I think even people who like used to love to get involved in other people's weddings, I think even they are starting to be like, I don't know. Like I think a lot about like when you see like bachelorette group drama where it's like, No, there's always drama in like the bachelorette group because like the maid of honor isn't doing enough, or she's doing too much, or like the maid of honor feels like the other bachelorettes that are supposed to be helping her aren't enough. And like I feel like we've reached just like peak like group drama. Like everything is just a little bit too much.
Well, everything starts to be performative. You know what I mean? Like everyone there is trying to perform that they're there to everyone else who's there to be like, I deserve to be here. I'm this important in the ceremony. Where am I seated? Who am I with? Who was I invited by? What table am I sitting at? And again, everyone's doing this. And the bride and groom, they're like, well, I'm wearing the nicest tuxedo and I picked this groomsman because I had to and I promised in college. And it's just like, is anyone actually just doing the thing? Is anyone actually just earnestly in the moment, or is everyone here performing for someone else? By the way, and every performance, massive budget, so expensive.
Yeah, and again, when you talk about this, we could make a movie for a wedding.
Well, that was also it. Once you start like doing like the math on that, where it's like, what other things could I be spending
money on?
Yeah,
like so many things. Well, I also think like just in general, like I mean, with me, I'm like I don't really got any friends, you know.
Well, now that's just the sad part.
Well, I don't think that's sad. I think it's.
Well, I would also say I would have a different take on that, which is like, here's the deal. For us, it would either make sense to invite a dozen people or 200.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because we've literally been doing comedy, been doing like, various like, film, TV, internet stuff for a long time. So there's tons of people we could invite.
Yeah, that's so real.
There's
like a lot or it's very small.
But then when you get down to like, well, the inner circle of the inner circle, well, then you're really dealing with like 7 to 10 probably.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, then that's kind of too big. That's too small to have a wedding.
Yeah.
But it's also like, it's a good, like, you know what I mean? You get to like this weird thing where it's like, so either I'm literally putting on a massive event that at that point has nothing to do with me.
Right.
Or it's like this kind of weird sized event that's kind of so small, it's socially awkward.
Yeah.
Not to be rude.
Well, that's also it. I always think about how like, dude, I like if it's my special day, it's my love day with my lover.
We got married a few weeks ago. You've never spoken about our wedding in these terms.
It's my love day with my lover.
These love day with lovers.
Love day with my lover.
You've never
love
used
day
that
with my
phrase.
lover. Like I don't want to have to like make small talk with a relative.
Well, here's what I believe. I believe that if it's my day, I shouldn't have to do a single thing I don't want to do. And it also became very clear very early, I would have to do a ton of stuff I didn't really want to do. You know what I mean? Like also like this, like, not even in a no friends way. It's like, I don't want to do a bachelor party. That doesn't sound fun to me, dude. That doesn't sound fun.
No.
I don't want to do that. If I did a bachelor party, it would be me just doing it because, well, you've got to do it. And then you realize how much of these things are like, well, you gotta do this. And then I realized, because here's the thing about our wedding, also to be clear, we looked cool as fuck and hot as fuck. The wedding was cool as fuck and awesome.
Yeah.
The pictures are awesome and cool. We stayed in like a super nice room and
we had a beautiful dinner.
We had a beautiful epic dinner. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it was epic.
Like, and that was another thing too. You talk about how in a wedding, like, well, it's like, $200 a plate or whatever. And that's simultaneously a lot. But it's a lot to spend on a random cousin. Again, no offense. But it's actually not a lot to spend on myself on my wedding day.
No.
Because I'm having the same $200 dinner.
Right.
And I'm like, we ended up having like a super nice, luxurious dinner at like this Michelin star restaurant in Vegas.
Yeah.
Overlooking the fountain.
At the Bellagio. And it was fabulous.
It was fabulous and awesome. And also it was like, yeah, so at least every dollar spent is going to make
us directly and making us happy.
Making us happy.
And it's all in service of our specific joy the way we want it.
Also, I'm not even trying to be rude because this was another reaction, and this was well-meaning. But I remember I would talk to people like, hey, we're just going to do like this small thing. And like some people, like my mom was like, but wait a minute, don't you want to have like a special day where like you look cool and you look awesome and wonderful and beautiful, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously comes from a well-meaning place. The response to that, and I don't mean this in like an ego way, but it's just like, dude, it's just going to be through us. It's gonna look cool and be cool.
Yeah.
That's also the thing where I'm like, no. It's like, again, we're not eloping to like some hovel and getting like married behind a gas station off the 101. It's like, nah, dude, we're gonna have an awesome time.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. It's like, we wanted to be like, why not just like, if it's our wedding truly, give ourselves permission to just have an awesome time.
Well, also basically just have like the funnest, most expensive, luxurious hang ever.
Yes.
Which again, like if you're marrying someone that you like love to hang with, it's like, why wouldn't you just like, okay, what's the most expensive, weirdest thing we could do to hang out and celebrate that we love to hang out?
Yeah.
And that's literally what we did. We did our favorite thing, which is road trip.
We did
Robert
road
and I
trip.
love to drive in the car together.
That was awesome.
And then we went to a fancy hotel, which we love to do. We ate a ton of expensive food.
Yeah.
We went and bought our wedding bands on the strip. We got a little tipsy and bought our wedding bands. We rented cool ass outfits. And again, we rented them because you know what I realized too? What am I going to do with a wedding dress in my closet? Make my daughter wear it and make her feel bad if she's like fatter than me? And like, oh, well, you're not going to be able to fit in my wedding dress, honey. Or in my ugly ass wedding dress. You know what I mean? Like we rented our outfits. They were freaking sick. And then we went and had the coolest wedding ever.
Yeah. We had like a cool fucking time.
And we took the sickest freaking pics. And also we didn't even need a photographer because when we were in the casino, like taking pictures with a digital camera, this group of girls came up and was just like, let us take pictures of you guys, please. Like, can we please take pictures of you guys?
We got to be like celebrities on the Bellagio casino floor. It was awesome. But again, that's like this thing too, because I think here's the deal. And I think this is wedding culture in general. Maybe originally, here's the thing. Originally, weddings were 0% fun because they were purely a contract that involved the exchange of land between landowning classes or whatever.
Well, the idea of marrying for love used to be preposterous.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then briefly, weddings maybe started to get a little bit more fun.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, all right, maybe weddings opened up to everybody a little more fun. But then people realized you could spend money. And then it became a competition between which wedding will be the most fun and the biggest and the most expensive. And then everyone stopped having fun. And I literally think, and obviously I've been to weddings where people have a good time, obviously. But like on the whole, weddings aren't fun for anybody. Who can just volunteer that? No one's actually having fun, or at least not nearly the fun they think they're supposed to have.
Or like the fun per dollar.
Yes.
But I think actually this all boils down to fun per dollar. Yeah, again, if we're going back to fun per dollar, dare I say, which I think is a good value metric, fun per dollar.
Fun per dollar.
I'm like, I would say that what we had fun per dollar wise was far higher than like what a wedding would have been fun per dollar.
Well, let me give you an example of fun per dollar that I think is really relevant in the wedding conversation.
Yes.
I see all of these TikToks of people who get married at Disneyland and they have formal weddings at Disneyland. And I'm pretty sure, dude, it costs 6 figures.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, if you are one of those Disney adults, and I don't even say that in a disparaging way, if you are a Disney adult, to me, I'm like, well, no. You should get married in the courthouse in the morning and then spend the day just at Disneyland.
Right.
Like that to me is maximizing fun per dollar.
Yes.
Your wedding day was at Disneyland, but there is something
like,
inherently
why do you need
performative.
to do the ceremony at Disney?
Also, let's be rude. If your Disneyland wedding has no one there, you're not at Disneyland.
Does that increase your fun per dollar?
It doesn't.
No.
What about your fun? And this is us as wedding planners.
Yes.
What's your fun per dollar?
What's your fun per dollar? And again, I'm like, okay, let's say I don't know how good way. Let's say like the most fun you can have is 10.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if
I'm with you. No, scale of
the
10.
most fun you can have is 10. It's like per dollar. I am like, no, what we did was 10 fun per dollar.
It was 10 fun per dollar.
And I would literally say like, I would have negative fun per dollar at like a big wedding.
If it was ours, well, because also here's the deal. The wedding to me should be a thing that's done for you that other people can witness. Which again, I'm using a lot of words that it sounds like I'm describing what a wedding should be.
Right.
It's the bride and groom's thing that other people get to witness. And instead, I think it's become something like the bride and groom are putting this experience together for everyone there. Yeah. Which again, I get if people are flying in, all this stuff, but to me, I'm like, no, it's not about you guys. Or it's about us, and then you should be here to support us.
And again, I would just also argue that like, dude, as a guest, it's like the best wedding is cool, is good. It's good. But I'm like, is it worth the stress of the two main characters?
Yeah.